That'll Be Adele, and this is Nik Kershaw. Welcome, Nick. What a pleasure to see you.
Good afternoon, Ryan. Lovely to be here.
For anyone of under a certain age, let me explain that you have been one of the great additions to the pop music scene since 1984. Would that be
that was my big
roughly
year?
The big year for you.
Kicked off
as a solo artist. String of global hits. We're going to talk about Wouldn't It Be Good, the Riddle, I Won't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, to name but a few. And we've met once before briefly when you were on the Late Late Show in Dublin. But here we are live at the top of the tower today. Yeah. And how are you? You're looking great, I must say.
Yeah, very well, thanks, Ryan. Yeah.
Tell us about the tour. What's happening?
It's as I said, 1984 was my big year. So we're celebrating the 40th anniversary of that year, and I had 2 albums released in 9 months, within 9 months of each other. So we're playing both of those albums in their entirety.
And how's that going to work? You're going to do side A, side B, go all one go? You're going to take a break, come out?
No, we're not going to do it in sequence. So we did think about it, but I thought about it. But the problem with that, if we do it in sequence, the second song of the whole show Wouldn't It Be Good?
Okay.
So kind of
that's not going to work.
No.
So you're talking about Human Racing and The Riddle.
Exactly.
The 2 albums, and you'll perform them broken up a little bit, but more like a Spotify playlist of the 2 albums.
I think it will be a game of 2 halves. So I think we'll do one album, one half, and the other album, the second half.
It's selling out all over the place. How does it feel to be kind of on the cusp of going out back on stage?
It's really gratifying. It's great to see that, I mean, you put the tickets on sale and you kind of stand back and see what happens.
Were you nervous?
Well, a little bit. We did some shows last year, just some sort of general club shows and stuff, and they sold really well as well. So we just upped the venue sizes a little bit this time, and it's been really good so far.
What response do you get from millennials and Gen Zs, or the younger? Yeah. What are they saying about your music?
Well, I don't think they say much at all. I mean, they do turn up.
Yeah.
And not obviously the hardcore are there from back in the day, and then they drag their kids along.
Yeah.
Who are obviously not kids anymore.
Yeah.
But also there's another bunch that have just kind of stumbled upon me, on YouTube or whatever, and it's great to see them there. It's fantastic.
That's a whole new lease of life for your music in some ways, because you've got 5 kids of your own, and well, if I say kids, young adults in some ways. What's their relationship to your music like?
Oh, that's always pretty odd. I mean, I didn't start having kids until I kind of stopped making records for a while at the end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s. So they didn't know, why we lived in a big house until kind of they got old enough to sort of see the videos and
I love
that.
I love that idea. Now, children, the reason we live in this extraordinary house is gather around the television in the VHS clunk. That's me.
We have a little session of video watching. Yeah, no, but I mean, my youngest is a bit baffled by it all. He has been to a few gigs and he's into his music as well. But he's introducing me to his music rather than the other way around.
What do you like that you're being introduced to?
Oh, he's right into like Slipknot and System of A Down and all these guys and
he's gone heavy, right?
And these they're 90s bands as well. So I don't know where again, it's the internet. He's discovering it there.
Yeah, for sure. When you think of your own, I always think with you, because you wrote songs for other artists, you played with other artists. To me, there was always with you this push-pull of frontman versus behind-the-scenes guy. Was it always that way? Or?
There wasn't much push or pull, really. I mean, I made a conscious decision to step back at the end of the 90s, end of the 80s, and I kind of just wrote songs and produced for other people. So, and I was happy doing that for a while, and then I just kind of, being the control freak I am, was losing control of some of my songs, and I thought, well, I'm just going to, get back on the horse again, really.
Explain that to me. You'd write a song for somebody, they'd take it and they were mangling it, and you were saying, oh, God, that's not what I meant in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they were not to be fair, it wasn't, not mangled. They were some very good people doing horrible things to my song.
I call that mangling.
No, but, people see things a different way, that's all.
Yeah,
and you can't always get your own way. So I think the only way I was going to get my own way is if I started making my own records again, which I started doing at the end of the 90s.
Your folks, tell me what your folks did for a living, your mum and dad.
My dad was an architect. He worked for the Suffolk County Council, building schools and fire stations and things.
Yeah.
And my mum trained as an opera singer, but she kind of had sort of temp jobs, and while she wasn't looking after the home and us.
And would she have been listening to opera then at home on a Sunday?
It was around, yeah. I mean, she sung a lot in church and village halls and stuff like that. So I was, and she did like song festivals, which were like competitions. And singing and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm always remember being chucked in the car and driven to her singing lessons that she had on a Monday night, and going for a walk in the park with my dad while we waited for her to come out again.
Yeah. So it was in there in the background.
That
lovely music.
It was.
In 1984, obviously your life changed dramatically with the albums that came out, and you became. I mean, if anyone looks, I've got this beautiful picture of you here with the classic mullet.
Yeah.
You're probably the original mullet in some ways.
No, I can't. I don't think I can claim credit for that. There was some pretty spectacular.
It's back. They're back now.
Yeah, well, my son is sporting what he claims to be a mullet, but I'm thinking that's not a mullet. This is a mullet.
Only Nik Kershaw could say that. You think that's not a mullet? But the 80s the 80s fashion is back in so many ways. Even watching Stranger Things and programs like that, it's all
seems
there.
to be.
How massively did your life change from what you had been pre the success and during and post?
Yeah, well, I was earning a living playing music, so that in that respect it didn't change much. But obviously, being a celebrity changes everything. It's just kind of, and it happened so quickly. Literally from the beginning of January 1984, I couldn't get arrested. At the end of January 1984, I couldn't go out. I couldn't leave the building without getting jumped on. So it was quite spectacular.
Yeah, I'd say for better or for worse.
Oh, in a lot of ways for better. I know. I might have, nobody likes a whinging pop star, and I was. It was quite terrifying at times, and bewildering what was happening. But that was what I was living my dream. Why it was amazing. Yeah.
All roads led to the big house and the video machine.
Exactly.
Okay, we're going to play a song to say goodbye, but which is the Riddle. And one of the stories I love about the Riddle is that you just put nonsense into it. I say nonsense respectfully, because there have been theses written about what you meant by this song, and you seem to say, lads, stop wasting your time. You're on a wild goose chase there.
Well, I didn't say it at the time, and I apologise for that. I got myself into a position where I couldn't actually fess up without insulting a huge amount of people. But yeah, because the second album was written so quickly, and I struggled with the lyrics for that particular song, so it's always meant to be a guide vocal.
I see, like scrambled eggs for yesterday.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. But every attempt I made to change it, it just never sounded right. We got so used to the nonsense. Let's stick with that then.
I like that answer. Yeah. NikKershaw.net for details for the 1984 tour. Good luck with it. Congratulations, and what a pleasure to see you today.
Brilliant. Thank
you
Ryan.
so much.